Hey, today we'll be discussing the age of magical thinking. First of all, I chose three excerpts from the introduction. That one is one I feel identified with. The next one is one I have a question about, and then one that I disagree with. The first one, the one that I identify with, is on page 13, and it says like this: He had been told that it would be better to wait to write when I had come through the crisis, but I was never going to come through the crisis. What I identified with is that it it says how the feeling of never ending the chaos that death can bring. Like it represents the idea that a person like you will never completely escape for that devastation caused by that significant loss. And I agree with that. On page 16, I have a question about this, that it says that there is no other place in the world like the place where you have been, where you are now. This statement tends to highlight the uniqueness or singularity of individual experiences, as well as the loneliness that can result from them. It makes me question if Didon saying that grieving and experiencing loss are wholly unique experiences, or the people that if you feel the same circumstances or that you've been through the same things, it can unite or like put together the people. So I don't know, I have that question. And on page 18, the one that I disagree with is that it says the magical thinking of the title refers to a series of beliefs I held about the permanence of the other or things. In my opinion, this is an interesting but problematic concept. It seems to suggest that believing in magic is comparable to rejecting or denying change. Nevertheless, I also wonder if it could be a way of surviving or sticking a sense of control in an otherwise unpredictable circumstance. Because is magical thinking necessarily or negative a harmful response? This provides our readers an idea of Didon's investigation into grief as the way in which grieving people interpret their experiences. That's the first part of the discussion. Now we'll go to the second one, and it's that we're talking about how the three main ideas that can be important for the readers or the writers, and are first I will talk about the definition of magical thinking, then the role of overthinking. These are for me the main ideas that are important, and last we will talk about the nature of grief and its impact on perception. The definition of magical thinking can be found in page 18, when Didon defines magical thinking as a belief in the permanence and order of things which can be disrupted by loss or tragedy. This thinking often involves holding onto irrational beliefs or expectations about how the world should work. I believe that for writers, understanding this concept is essential. I think it's really important because it highlights how people create and cling to personal narrative to make sense of their experiences. Next, on page 4, we find the role of overthinking. Here, Didon describes overthinking as a mental process where continuously revisits and examines the things that already happened and event or situation, often leading to obsessive thoughts. Like for example, when something overthinking can make worse feelings of grief or anxiety as it involves something that happened because it's you replay scenarios and speculate about things that could have happened or may have been, or the things that are already happened, how they could have been or what you could have done. So for readers and writers, recognizing the impact of overthinking can be crucial when analyzing how individuals justify their beliefs or actions. And last, on page 12, we find the nature of grief and its impact on perception. Didon explores how grief can alter one's perception of reality, making it challenging to distinguish between the actual and the imaginary one. This distortion affects how people interpret events and construct arguments. For both readers and writers, acknowledging the profound impact of grief on perception is vital. It emphasizes the need of empathy and the understanding the personal experiences of loss can significantly shape one's arguments and viewpoints. And this is all for the discussion, for the first part of the discussion of the age of magical overthinking.